Are we ready? Okay. Convening the Urban Renewal Commission meeting on Tuesday, January 13th. Roll call.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Commissioner Benville.
Here.
Commissioner Holliday.
Here.
Commissioner West.
Here.
Commissioner Mengelberg. And Chair Polly.
Here. All right, welcome. We are moving on to the election of chair and vice chair for 2015. So I see we have little ballots here.
Yes. Thank you, Chair Polly. I have included the urban renewal bylaws in your packet, and at the beginning of each year, we vote on a chair and a vice chair. As you remember, or you may recall from last year, that one of the officer positions can be held by a city commission member, but the other position should be held by one of the citizen members. So first we'll take nominations, if it's okay with you, for the chair, and then we will vote by ballot, which I have just passed out to you, and then we'll do that same procedure with the vice chair position.
Point of clarification, Katie, the commission member cannot be the mayor.
Yes.
The
Right.
chair of the urban renewal.
Right. Okay. Do I hear any nominations for chair?
Isn't it secret ballot?
We do the nominations first.
are voiced.
Oh, God. Hey, I nominate Rocky
Always
Smith.
works so well.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for Rocky Smith. Any other nominations?
Oh.
Okay, we should commence voting then.
Well, I would move. I would move that we vote by acclamation and be done with the ballot.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we can go ahead and do that. Did you?
Do what?
Just say all those in favor. Say
Okay, so all those in favor say aye for Rocky Smith for chair.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's been approved.
Congratulations, Rocky.
I didn't vote. I abstain.
You don't get to vote.
That.
Okay, now moving on to a vice chair. Any nominations?
I would.
I had already wrote someone down.
I nominate Derek Benville for vice chair.
I second that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's been approved.
Simple.
Simple. Jeez.
All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Mr. Smith.
Do we switch now?
Speech.
Okay.
That's it. We're done.
The far end.
The new view.
I like this.
Yes, she has to wait till she signs out.
We're incognito.
Carol, can you sign out over there?
Can you sign Rocky out, please?
Sign out?
Sign out and then sign back in as you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That leads us then to citizen comments. If there's any citizen comments, any citizen signed up to speak? And I don't
Apparently
think
no.
so. All right. Then that moves us on to general business. We have requests for storefront grant funds, and this is Eric.
Mr. Chair. Last summer, the Commission awarded Bush and Bush Development a storefront grant in the amount of $40,000 at 804 Main Street, commonly known as the Bush Furniture Building. They are requesting funds be dispersed to them prior to project completion. They do have a year to finish the project, but they are requesting funds currently because they've met a hardship on the project. I believe there's not enough clearance close to some high voltage wires on one end of their project, and it's going to take some time to resolve. So I've asked the Andy here tonight, Andy Bush, in case you guys have any questions about that in more detail. But I'm bringing this to the Commission tonight because it's kind of outside staff's purview, because the criteria states that we cannot disperse funds until proof of final payment has been made to the contractor. So this is kind of over and beyond my realm as far as the criteria and the regulations for the grant. However, the Commission can they can make any decision they'd like to make on this.
Okay. We have one citizen signed up for comment, so maybe we should take that first, and then we can have discussion. Or are you not? You are. Okay. Any comments? Any discussion?
I think I'd like to hear what Andy has to say.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
I do too.
I'd like to address the commission.
You want sometimes before, but
Let's see. Andy Bush from Bush Furniture, 804 Main Street. Thanks for calling or having me at this meeting today, because I am requesting funds for something that kind of sits outside of probably the realm of the normal application. And as Eric brought into a little background, it exists because there's a pole at the side of our building that PGE has some transformers on that over the years has increased. There's been a lot of building down there. Those transformers have grown and grown and grown. It's been an interesting situation because when we set the scaffolding up in around August, there was a small section of the building that didn't get scaffolding. As we were working, we found out the reason why was there's reasons why you can't work next to that pole. So a whole new discussion formed with PGE, which was laborious at best. PGE had thoughts on the process. We had thoughts on the process. None of us could agree. That took us to the PUC, which is the governing board, to discuss these matters with PGE or Northwest Natural or other places. That took a while to investigate. But what the final ruling was, and I just had confirmation again today, is that the NEC code from 2012 that was adopted does, in fact, say that that pole is too close to our building. Now it's a safety concern for PGE. They are in communication at the PUC level to move those transformers to another location. And what I'm hearing is it's probably on the railroad wall, which is at Railroad and 8th. There's a pole there. And that will feed that pole and then go to the other buildings, including myself. So it's been a long process. We couldn't finish that little segment. I sent over an email very late to Eric because I thought tonight's meeting was tomorrow. So it has 2 pictures of the building if anyone's seen
We
that
got it. It's on our
spot.
screen.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, that's where we're at. We're kind of waiting to speak again with PGE. And I think part of the PUC process is that we don't talk for a little bit while it's investigated. And I think we'll probably be at a table soon discussing their timeline for us to get up there and finish that project. We've paid F&F Structures the amount and above, well above, beyond the ask for this progress payment. And then we'll finish up with them a little later this spring, I hope.
They have met the requirement for a 50% match.
Any other questions? And thanks, too, for these kinds of programs. I'm on my way up here. I was thinking Jonathan would probably be a good person to do this because he's very analytical, but the amount of resource that goes back into the community, sure, there's materials that are bought, but these are for trades people and contractors and things that their trade is their time, and that time gets spent to them or given to them as proceeds or money that gets put back into the community. I'm thinking of this project, a local contractor. I know the painter was local. I know the mason person was local. So, you know, the economic kind of, I think, larger picture for these programs
Multiplier effect.
get lost, I think, and sometimes it looks like somebody got money to enhance their building. Well, if you really look at where these people live that we've hired, they're our neighbors in many cases, or a community to the west or the east. So these are really interesting programs, and it'd be neat to see the data sometime on how this comes back into the community.
Commissioner Holliday.
Oh, I thought we were going to let Jonathan go. He's
Well, he said he was waiting for us to discuss, I think. Or would you like to come out now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I didn't want to say anything wrong because I don't completely understand what's going on with that utility pole, but I do know that the project that Andy and his family have taken on is rather significant in 2 ways. One is, first of all, it completes the street wall on 8th Street, which is fantastic. But then second of all, inside that renovation he restored the existing wooden windows which is a really nice thing to see. Then also, it's the only remaining cast iron storefront in downtown Oregon City that's part of that redevelopment. So, of the projects that are sort of trying to meet that high standard of historic preservation, he's done a very nice job at it. And it's unfortunate that this pole has left a sliver of the facade unrenovated, but that I'm sure it'll happen in time. But I know how much $40,000 means to operating businesses in downtown, and that resolution of the grant earlier than later would be, I'm sure, a welcome decision.
Okay. Commissioner Holliday.
So let me give you a quick technical explanation why this is what it is. So those two transformers you see on the picture are dropping us down from 10 kilovolts to either probably 240 that go into the buildings. And the code says that you can't have a non-lineman work within 15 feet of those transformers. So when PGE hung those transformers on that pole, they should have known that they were not doing it right, because you can reach out and touch the corner of the building from that top of that pole. So that's why it's sitting the way that's the technical explanation for why that's going on. And I think just like Andy said, most of this money stayed in the community. I'm pretty sure that the F&F Structures would have said something to me if they weren't having a happy relationship with Mr. Bush. So I feel pretty comfortable going ahead and doing this.
Commissioner Benville.
So to clarify, and based on kind of the information I was getting from your the response from you, Andy, it talked about that this cost is going to be really expensive. But to be clear, it's PGE that's paying for the cost of moving this pole, right?
Yeah, there was some backstory earlier on when we were at an impasse. Basically, what PGE had given us as our only option was to pay them to move the transformers, which was about $13,000 by their guess, and could be larger. That's where the impasse stayed, and we took it to, it's unfortunate because they call it a complaint. You have to file a complaint with the PUC. It would be nicer to call it a discussion or oversight or something, but that's the process, and that's where we had to go from there.
Okay.
So.
And then, Eric, the $40,000. What percentage of the whole grant that we gave them? What is that? What percentage?
I think that's half, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, it would be, I think the total project's in over just south of 120, something like that. So it's about getting to be a half, a little less than half.
Because typically in my business, there's usually a 5% retention of making sure that everything's all done and closed. And I don't know if we have that requirement at all, where you got to be done and passed and signed off, and then you get
that's
your.
It. We don't cut a check until we receive proof of payment to the contractor, and a W-9 form and an inspection. Make sure it's done the way it was applied for.
And
the additional expense here is the fact that they had the scaffolding set up, they had all their people there, and then they couldn't do it. So now they got to bring all that stuff back out, reset everybody up again. That's the additional expense.
And we have paid F&F the amount of the grant request and then some. So I'm waiting to pay them more, basically, out of this ask to get
what
them
is the
further
overall
down
cost
the
to
road.
come back to do the final payment?
I don't have the figures in front of me. I think we're probably going to be still another 15-ish to complete. Around there, things change over 6 months too. Just getting them staged and back in there, and I don't know, because I don't know if they're only going to have to build a small scaffolding this time, not a giant one.
Right. And the only thing left is to paint, right?
There's a little bit of cornice detail and some paint, so it's very small, but a lot of it will be staging, the cornice work, and then paint will be minimal. We did every single thing we possibly could.
And the
except
same
for that.
contractor.
Yes, except for that small little area. And they've been great to work with. Dan mentioned a relationship, and I don't know of many scenarios where we could stretch a contractor or a business or one of my vendors out this many days to be complete. So,
Commissioner Shaw.
Well, it's. I think Derek kind of had my questions going there, but I was just curious about what's the completion level of the project right now. It sounds like about 95% or so. You know.
Yeah, it's got to be close.
Yeah. Okay.
In the 90s for sure.
All right. That's fine.
Well, due to these circumstances, I move to approve request for payment of storefront grant funds to application prior to project
Don't play
completion.
by the rules.
Good.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Carol Polly, seconded by Dan Holliday. Call for the vote.
I don't like this part. I'd rather do a voice vote. Push the
I
button.
agree. I
It
agree.
passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Commission.
you.
I appreciate it.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Yes.
Your
Looking
building
great.
looks great.
Well,
Yeah.
Looks really good.
I appreciate all the help you guys have lent to projects in downtown.
I'm looking forward to seeing the backside of that someday.
Every couple of years, you'll see us for possibly a new concept.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have 5B, minutes of September 3rd, 2014.
Where's the motion? I move to approve the meeting minutes of September 2014.
You got to go to on the floor on your button there,
Oh, thank you.
and then pick motion.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
thank
second
you.
that.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Okay, so
No,
we're going
it's
to do
not
it.
working.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're going to do it manually. Carol Polly,
Aye.
Brian Shaw,
Abstain. I wasn't here.
and Derek Benville,
Aye.
and Commissioner Holliday,
I abstain.
Commissioner West,
I guess I abstain.
Now we have a
and
problem.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye. You don't have to abstain,
Yeah, you don't.
even though you weren't at the meeting. But as long as you've read the minutes, so what
the
do we
minutes were
do?
posted.
Do we have enough? Do we have
There
a
was-
majority or?
There was the 3, so yes,
Okay, so we're fine.
passes.
Future agenda items.
Is that the last thing?
Are we? Is that not right?
Yeah, you're fine.
All
Okay,
right.
we're good.
Yeah.
I think 3 and a 3 is a failure.
3 and 3 is a fail.
Right.
Oh.
It's
On the
50,
urban-
50,
yeah.
We'll
right?
have to. I think
Hold
what
it
we
over.
could do
We
is
can
bring
hold
it back
over.
in the next
back
meeting and
as
Yeah,
long
Yeah,
as
we
it's
can-
we'll have
streamlined.
Renata here.
Yeah.
Right, we can hold it over.
Or you can vote.
Okay, again, future agenda items. Anyone?
Carol, go ahead.
I just wanted to check back on one that I had mentioned about having a planning session, a workshop for the urban renewal.
We talked about that in our executive team meeting this afternoon, and so it's we're looking at possibly the 18th, February.
Okay.
February 18th.
Or
Just the 18th. Just
Work
pick a month.
session.
No,
for
February 18th.
for a retreat. There's a commission retreat, but to actually have a retreat for urban renewal. To
More like
get focused.
a workshop, kind of going over the urban renewal plan and the work plan that was formulated about 2 years ago.
Is that a Saturday?
No, it's a Wednesday. It's a regular meeting night, but it would
Okay.
be an extended
That's
meeting.
fine.
okay. Thank you.
So which way are we extending the meeting?
Well,
On the front end or the back end?
right now we're talking about the back end.
Okay.
So I'm trying to schedule it where we don't have to come to another meeting that month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just the earliest I can possibly meet is 4 o'clock, and that's really difficult for me to do. So 4:30 is
the
really
reason
It's
I
all-
chose
yeah.
the 18th right now because it's the city commission agenda is kind of a light agenda, and then we would have the urban renewal. It is right now, so I mean, it's subject to change. But if
Oh,
it
no,
stays
I meant-
that way, we'll have the
Maybe.
urban renewal meeting after the city commission meeting and extend it. So. But if it changes, I'll let you know.
Be from 5 to 7 before it.
I don't know. Let's work it out.
Commissioner Holliday.
So I have a little pet peeve that I want to talk to you guys about, and that is that when you're watching this on television or on Granicus, when we vote, it's just sort of poof, and you don't really know what happens. I would propose
Yeah.
that as a rule and I'm going to propose this at the city commission level too, we use the screens to vote, but we do a voice vote as we go along, so that If you have something that you want a very short comment about why you're voting the way you're voting, you have the opportunity to do that as well. So I'm just putting out that as a proposal to the commission as a whole.
And I will add to that. I agree. My pet peeve has been, the buttons are there, so the rule in the past has been you hit the button before you make the motion, or you make the motion before you hit the button, etc. So that we're not, jumping onto that with. Sometimes people make motion on the computer without saying it out loud, and the public doesn't hear that. But I kind of agree. I'd like to have us vote that way too, but because it's hard to see sometimes the monitor, and it's nice to be able to hear each person vote. But I think that's a discussion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind either, because sometimes the panel doesn't work anyways. So
Right.
to have both would be fine. And the other thing is, as a pet peeve, just when you say, yes or no, or yay or nay, don't spend a whole bunch of reasons, a lot of time why you did it.
Which
Just
is
a
why I
real
said
quick blurb,
very
please.
short, yes,
Very
yes.
short.
All right. Anyone else?
I agree. That's fine. I think it's nice for the public to be able to know what we're doing instead of looking at a screen, because a lot of times people are at home and they're just listening and not really watching. So perfect. That's not a problem.
City manager's report.
I don't have anything for tonight.
Okay. Any other comments?
Cove update at all? Is there any Cove
We're going to
update?
have an executive session right now.
Okay.
Oh, it's
And,
executive. I didn't
And I
catch
need
that.
to probably say that, right?
We know what that's about.
Adjourn this.
We're adjourning this meeting to go into executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660 2E.